Hi all. You are on the Software Developer blog channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. In this video we will discuss a very important topic, how to prepare for and pass interviews. To begin with, I would like to say that in my experience of interviewing in different countries, they may differ. There are several stages of interviews in different companies. This can be from 2 to 4 meetings with communication, and may also include the first phone call. It all depends on the company, of course, but usually this is, for example, one call, where HR clarifies questions and evaluates whether you are suitable for this project and position, and 2 meetings. The first, for example, could be a technical interview, and the second, for example, communication with the CEO of the company or the leader of the business department. Here they will mainly evaluate only your soft skills and make a decision whether to give you an offer or not. So, let's figure it out, how to prepare for an interview with HR. HR is unlikely to ask about the details of your frameworks and details of previous projects, simply because this is not her profession. What can she ask you? About your soft skills, why and how you left your previous job, and other aspects related specifically to HR methods. Whereas a technical interview will likely focus much more on making sure your knowledge fits the position and your soft skills fit the specific team because they have a deeper knowledge of the job than the recruiter. The CEO of a company or the leader of a business department generally has their own views and ideas about the developer, so they often ask rather unique questions. You must understand that the most important thing for a recruiter is to understand that you are generally adequate and can work with you in principle. Because if you are not adequate, it is advisable to weed you out at this stage. Therefore, do not be surprised, they sometimes ask questions that are quite strange, from your point of view. But these questions fit precisely into HR methods in order to weed out those who are completely inadequate. Because they react to such questions and begin to show their unpleasant nature, and it immediately becomes clear that there is no need to work with this person. Therefore, if she asks you some question that is strange in your understanding, this is normal. The main task is to find out, in addition to understanding how sane you are, also to understand why you quit your previous job and how you generally get along with the team. Because, well, that's what she's primarily responsible for. Therefore, questions about why you left your previous job and tell us about your previous job should be answered in such a way as not to express a negative opinion about your previous employers. Important advice: never say bad things about your previous employer. Any current employer will assume what you say. No matter what nasty thing you said about your previous employer, the current employer, the one who is interviewing you now, may immediately try to put it on himself and say, "Yeah, that's what he'll say about me when he leaves me." The language in which communication with HR will take place also depends on the company and the position they need to fill. But mostly this is English. These are standard questions: tell us about yourself, your achievements, where you worked and on what projects. If you have no experience, where did you study? In this case, prepare your answers in advance, write them down and read them several times before the interview. The next stage is a video call with a top developer who will conduct an interview, possibly a practical task. Regarding communication with the technical interview, communicate with him as with another senior programmer, as with your manager. This is absolutely normal. Just understand that the person is not in the mood to harm you. Even if you think he has a bad attitude, it's probably just his way of communicating. He checks whether you are a good fit for the team he is leading and whether you are capable of performing the duties that will be performed in your new job. If you can, great. If you can't, goodbye. The better fit you are for the team, the better your chances of getting there. Please note that quite often there are situations when the interview asks you questions to which it is clear in advance that you do not know the answers. This is not to destroy you, but to test how you react to situations where you don't know the answers. How are you doing? After all, such situations also happen in work. Therefore, do not have a complex if you do not know the answers to many of the questions the interview asks. That's how it was intended. There are also interviewers who ask strictly technical questions, and if you don't answer them, then goodbye. It is difficult to assess whether those interviews passed or failed. The next interview could be with the CEO of the company or the leader of the business department. This is where things get interesting. If you have reached this stage, then they are potentially ready to make you an offer, but you need a higher approval rate. At this interview, there will be questions about soft skills, your experience, and various other questions that may seem stupid to you or confuse you. Again, they look at you and want to understand what kind of employee you are and whether you are a good fit for them. Therefore, it is difficult to prepare for this part of the interview. Be confident and answer questions calmly and honestly. The main thing is not to talk badly about your previous place of work. How do you know when it's time to start looking for a job? Everything is very simple. You should already have a project that can be called commercial, that is, there is no shame in showing it to someone and saying, "I did it." This project should already be deployed and lying normally. It is advisable to have several such projects, but if there is only one good one, then it will also do. It is important that these projects have all the necessary technologies required at the main work sites. At this point, you are definitely ready to start looking for a job. If you're studying and not writing projects, you're not studying, and it's probably not worth spending more time looking for a job. But if you have a couple of projects and they are working, you can safely look for work. Again, projects should not be too simple. For example, a calculator or a website landing page are not entirely suitable examples. At first, such projects can also be useful, but for work it is better for the project to be more complex, for example, a web application on React, a server on Node, a database, for example, MySQL or MongoDB, and some kind of library or integration with another service. To find a job, you will have to go through several interviews, probably more than one. Don't be discouraged, this is just one step towards your goal. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. Until we meet again, bye.